Hey everybody, One Stupid Rat Creature here. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and welcome to the Music Challenge. This is a series where I take suggestions on characters, genres, and settings in order to either recreate old pieces or compose entirely new works. But we have no idea where this idea is going to take us, but I'm sure it's going to be a great result. So, if you have ideas, go ahead and write me them in the comments below. I just might use them in the next video. Suggestions can be a scenario or a pre-existing song, and any style that you want me to write them in. So for example, I could say Beethoven's Fifth in the style of 8-bit, right? Okay, that's an example. Or it can be an entirely new scenario, for example, like Massive Orc with a Skull Crusher, right? And then I can try and write around that. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video's challenge. Today, my task is Steampunk Super Mario Bros. That is the main theme of Super Mario Bros. So, since this is the first video in this series, I was the one to come up with the suggestion, and I thought this would accurately demonstrate what this series can possibly do. Now, to start off, I'm going to take the Super Mario Bros. Theme that I found online in piano sheet form, basically just the pure bread and butter, get the melody and the chords and all of that, and write it out in piano structure so I can kind of hear where I'm going with this piece before I get to actually composing it, and the instrumentation and the sound layout. Now, I'm not going to be doing much as far as iterating on the piece. I'm actually going to keep it pretty much the same, only adding a few staccato marks and accents here and there where I find that they would actually fit. I'm going to give the bass and the melody more of an accented style when it comes to the syncopated beats, so that the piece can still retain that jumpy, light feel, but because steampunk has such a, on the beat, boom, 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 very mechanical, very heavy style, I'm going to try and underlay that with a beat that is, very 4/4, very on the beat, nothing else. And I think the two should mix very nicely. I think it's going to have a lovely sound to it. Alright, so I've finished the main theme, and here's the result on piano. Why don't you take a listen? This is what we're starting with. Alright, so you'll notice the main thing that I did with this was that I added these grace notes to just kind of make the piece fly when it hits these very important parts. Because, well, when I'm gonna do this jazzy steampunk style, I want to have a lot more swing. Like imagine a gear kind of shifting around, ka-chung, 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 ka-chung. I want those to slide a bit more, so this is kind of like the oil to the gears. I'm adding these grace notes to allow the piece to have a little more energy in it. Now, as far as the next step, I'm going to find the instruments that I want to really highlight here. And I've got this lovely trumpet here, take a listen. Okay, so now that I know what my main instrument's going to be, I'm going to use this trumpet a lot throughout this piece. I want to solidify the steampunk element. I have a lot of options as far as drums that I can take. So I look through my Kontakt libraries and I find this one labeled oil drum, and I just think that's fantastic. So the oil drum instrument is going to actually contribute to the majority of my steampunk style. So here, this is an example of what it's going to sound like. Okay, so now that I've got this drum, it's only really a matter of deciding how I'm going to put all these instruments together, which is the fun part. Because steampunk is a really hard to define musical genre, there's not like a codex of steampunk sounds, you'd really have to figure that out for yourself as you go. I decided to go with more of a big band jazzy style, which I think Mario already kind of lends itself to, so this is going to sound really, really nice. One of the coolest things I think that was added here was this kind of asynchronous saxophone that I've got going on in the background behind everything, which gives it so it feels like a foreign world, but you're still super happy Super Mario Bros. About midway through the piece, there's this moment where these almost like a steam train comes in. And it's when I'm repeating this, the main theme. So, dun 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 dun. Okay, it's doing that, and then you get this steam train coming in, which really gets the piece rolling. And I think you'll like that a lot. So take a listen for that when the piece plays. And then the last part I wanted to do, because with the main theme that I wrote, I was missing a little bit of an ending. I decided, well, why not? Let's find the flagpole theme and put that in there and use it as a nice ender for this piece, which otherwise would kind of go on forever. Because game music is normally designed to loop, you're not going to really want to, when you're writing game music, that is, you're not going to really want to write with an ending in mind. Mostly, the most important thing about a game song is that it hits you strong immediately. You get a good sense of the feel right away, and then you have a nice loopable part in the middle, either about 2 or 3 minutes long, add some variation, and there you go, you've got a game track. When I'm composing game music, I like to go aside from the norm. I think the norm's kind of boring, honestly, because you know what to expect once you've heard the first 10 seconds. I try and add some crazy instruments, some interesting key changes, time signature changes, and all of that to give the pieces different feels at different times to possibly suit the player's feeling. Now, when it comes to most game tracks, consistency is going to be your best friend. If you can make the piece feel the same the whole way through, you're likely going to succeed. The other hard thing about writing game music is, like I said earlier, you need it to loop. So you need to find a place in your piece where it will easily start over again and you won't feel jarred out of the scene if it happens to cut out. So try and make sure that every second of it is really fantastic. Game music doesn't have to be long. You don't have to have a 9-minute symphony to make a great song for game design. You just need to have 1 minute of solid gold. So take that 1 minute and make it really shine out there. Make it scream its name louder than possible so that everyone knows what song you have. And I can guarantee that you're going to find success with that. Now, I'm coming to the end of this. This session took me about maybe 3 hours to actually edit and write the piece altogether. The longest part for me was because Kontakt Notion started crashing because I was using a modulator on my kinetic metals, which allowed the sound to be more tinny, like a steel drum, and it would actually crash every time it tried to run a triad. Not a triad, a chord. Yeah, that was a problem. It happened a lot. I eventually gave up, went to bed, came back on it, ran it again, and thankfully the RAM didn't absolutely freak out that time. But yeah, Kontakt was giving me so many nightmares on this piece. Anyway, I think the final product is really freaking fun, and I've been going back to this non-stop. I'll be honest, I like this piece a lot. So take a listen, hope you like it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and yeah, keep on playing games. Have a good time, guys. Bye.